Caleb Plant has a very good chance of winning a 12-round unanimous decision against Canelo Alvarez. Probably be a split decision. Canelo's the money man, so the officials are going to be with him. This is going to be a hard task. Canelo's made to order for somebody like Caleb Plant, as was Mayweather. Yeah, don't write in, or I know Canelo was 13 years old when he fought Mayweather. But anyway, when Mayweather-Canelo was announced, I said there's no way a fronted-up fighter is going to beat Mayweather. Slicing right down the middle, jab hand out further than the fronted-up fighter. If two fighters have the same reach, and you decide to be a fronted-up fighter, that sideways guy is going to have about that much more reach already. So Caleb Plant already has the reach on Canelo. He's going to even have more, his fighting style. I mean, yeah, Mayweather was working that jab. It's a foot out from the right hand, so you can work closer to the opponent, up and down, just setting things up for Mayweather. And what's funny about Canelo, it almost reminds me, after the Zaire, when Ali defeated Foreman with the rope-a-dope, he invented what's called the Mirage. And he used it with Ron Lyle. Mirage is you meet the guy centering, just let him hit nothing, gloves, arm. He gets tired, then Ali comes back. But Canelo's way different. It's not a mirage, there's water there. So Canelo uses this to set you up for a counter. One thing Canelo, and this is perfect for Caleb Plant, being fronted up, you have no power on your right hand. So Canelo always has to pull back, always has to, like overhand rights, or pull back to get any power. If you were like this and you had a shot put in your hand and threw it, go about 10 feet. If you're like this, the proper boxing stance in boxing. People, you can make a defunct boxing stance or style work if you do it long enough. I mean, Gene Fulmer comes to mind. Middleweight champion, has one win over Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray was past his prime. But anyway, you can make this work, but Caleb's going to use it to his advantage, that fronted up style, and him sideways. Plus, Canelo can go left or right. Kovalav couldn't go to the right. He wasn't good at that. I'm using Kovalav a lot because Canelo's an inch taller than Kovalav, 2 inches more reach. Buddy McGirt, great trainer, had a good game plan with Kovalav, had him box, just get sideways, use that jab, and did pretty good. Kovalav's kind of a shot fighter at that time. But Caleb's 100 times faster, 100 times the boxer Kovalav is. And so you can see what I'm getting at through the Kovalav fight. So I'm going to put a little, about 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't like how Lightning sparred. So I sent him this demonstration on the Rock'em Sock'em robots. Yeah, you guys are going to see this, and it'll kind of show what's going on here.
If you come straight on with another guy, you jab and you hit his glove. Here's what I mean about offsetting with your whole body. Move slightly to your right, your jab hand goes right down the middle. You got to remember, he's fronted up, you're sideways. All your opponents are fronted up. And they don't know this trick we're doing because they don't have a trainer like me. So by just shifting over there a little bit, your jab goes right down the middle, stomach, head. and that opens up your right hand around his left hand. As you know, with my step right, how I teach, that opens up that side of the face too, if you wanted to throw a little right hand to his head. But I would have, Shaquille, I would have been just ever so slightly shifting to my right and just working that jab and right down the middle. He's fronted up. So anyway, that's what I mean. I don't want you coming out right in front of the guy where your jab hand hits his glove. I want you to just offset him a little bit. It goes right down the middle. The right hand goes right around his left glove. All right, man.
Caleb kind of does that. He's really good at moving this way, and you can see he gets that jab right down the middle, and he gets slight angle moving to his right, just like the Rock'em Sock, and gets the right hand in. We're going to get in. Before we do, there's a couple instances where Canelo doesn't have to pull back on the right hand. And see if this is getting to the gnat's ass like I always do. See if you guys have the eye to pick up on this like I did. So Kovalav gets in he's over there. Canelo's fronted up. So now Canelo can turn a little bit. Just move this front leg so he can turn. So he doesn't have to pull back. Even that knockout, when he put the Crusher to sleep, he was slightly turned. Watch it. So I'd just like to point that out. You fighters, I don't know how this started. I think it started in the 90s with amateur fighting. They didn't score body shots, so everybody covered up their face and just boxed like that. So that's where I think boxing went downhill, was from the 90 amateurs. But Gene Fullmore fronted up. All right, we're gonna get into some of the tricks with the Mirage Canelo uses, and Caleb Plant's gonna know all these too. The first one is Caleb's sweeping hook to knock your head or push your head into his right hand. So another trick Canelo uses with his fronted up high guard. He starts leaning in a little bit. Of course, you throw an uppercut. When a guy has this high guard, it just funnels right up the middle perfectly. And yeah, so Kovalav thinks about a right uppercut. He goes like this, and Canelo comes out of it. And Kovalav should have got the hint on that, but not too smart. So Kovalav, and then he goes for it. So sure enough, Canelo pulls back and throws a left hook. That's how Canelo got away from the right uppercut. He pulled back and threw a left hook. Now, if you go back to my video on defense and counter the uppercut, if he would have used my method, that fight would have ended right there. So Crusher throws that right uppercut. Canelo catches it. Boom! Left hook right on the spot. Comes off your front forward leg. But by Canelo going like this, switching to his back leg before the hook even goes, took power off of that. But that fight would have been over if he used my technique. Boom, boom. All right. Another thing, and see, Canelo learned all this from the Mayweather fight, you know, getting uppercuts, and now comes the jab to the body. So you're fronted up. Of course, Mayweather jabbed the body, and so Crusher's going to jab to the stomach. Of course, now Mayweather, he does it like I teach my guys, you know. You get low, shoulder up protecting you, your head's kind of out of the way to the right a little bit. So that's the way Mayweather did it when he fought Canelo. But Kovalav goes, hello, hit me. And so now Canelo's on this from the Mayweather fight. Okay, if I'm like this, you're going to throw jabs to my stomach too, along with uppercuts. So they throw a jab, boom, he's on it right away. And what's good about his little fronted up style, he can be there right with the right hand, but it has no power because he couldn't pull back then. He had to do it quick. He's like this. He could have turned, maybe got him. All right. Right after the jab to the body, as you can see, Kovalev wants to throw the wide right hand like Mayweather did. And Mayweather did that against Cotto. He knew Cotto had the high guard, and Mayweather would slightly get to Cotto's left and throw that wide right hand around the guard. So Kovalev's going to try this, but Kovalev's not in the position. Canelo's right here. Instead of like sliding right a little bit, he could have made that work and not been as vulnerable. But he's like this, trying to go like this, and he falls in, and yeah, you see what happens there. So again, Kovalev lasted how many rounds in that? Was it the 11th? Whatever. But he did pretty good jabbing and moving. He got some rounds in there. And last but not least, Canelo's favorite, fake low, go high like he caught Khan with.
As we always knew, he went out on a shield.
Well, here it was.
Lovely delivered shot.
What a
Beautiful.
punch.
So all he does, he's starting this, he pulls back, has to pull back on that right hand. He's no power fronted up. So he dips, pulls back, and just that dip sets up that little overhand right or pull back right hand. Enough to where the guys think it's going to be a body shot and drop his hand. This has been around a while. Something popped up last week with, I believe it's Mike Alvarez. He's doing the same thing to his opponent when he knocked him out years ago. To Kovalev's credit, though, when Canelo tries it with him, and I'm sure Buddy McGirt and Kovalev were on this. They were on it because Kovalev throws like a check hook on Canelo. He goes, "What are you doing?" What I'm saying, all this telegraphing Canelo's doing that he got a knockout with Khan with is not going to work on Caleb Plant. He's too smart for this. He's too quick of a boxer. He sees things out there. So this is going to be trouble again. Guy as sideways as Caleb Plant against this guy coming at you. And Caleb Plant will know all the tricks that I'm talking about here, that Canelo uses. All right, I would normally do another video how Canelo beats Caleb Plant, but since nobody's giving Caleb Plant a chance, I'm not even going to do that video because everybody's an expert out there. They already know Canelo's going to get his knockout. You know, I've seen everything from Canelo's taxi cab driver to Sweet Dreams, Caleb, and Mike Tyson laughing hysterically when he heard the fight was being made and saying Caleb's going to get murdered. So there's no need of me doing a video how Canelo beats Caleb Plant. It's just going to be this one video how Caleb Plant wins a 12-round unanimous decision, although it'll be a split because of the judges. Last thing, what I would do with Caleb Plant's conditioning, I would actually do like I did with a fighter I had in the amateurs. He came back from an injury, wasn't quite up to par, took him to the Best of the Northwest in Seattle, a big 2-day tournament, and he lost to a very good slick boxer, mover. Moved all around the ring, kind of Ali style, younger days. So about 2 months later, or a month later, we had a rematch with him out of state, this guy. So I got my 2 best amateurs in the gym, And to switch, I had a interval timer, and it goes to up to 4-minute rounds, and it has different rest periods. Well, I put it on 4-minute rounds, 2-minute rest, so every 2 minutes it would go off, and then I'd switch 2 different fighters I had. And we went like 4 rounds like this. He went 4 4-minute rounds. You know, amateurs is 3 3-minute rounds. Switching off with my 2 good amateurs. And it really worked. When we got the rematch with this guy, he dominated all 3 rounds. He threw over 100 punches a round. One round, I think I counted 120 punches. So this guy was trying to move all around to no avail. We were just on him. I think instead of the Mayweather 20-minute rounds, I would do this with Caleb Plant, switching off, do 4-minute rounds, so he can have that stamina after 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds to carry him through and get that unanimous decision. All right, I think that's all I got on this, you guys. Like I said, be sure and score it. And thanks for watching.